Hello one and all, and welcome to Behind the Glass, your weekly automotive podcast hosted by two rather uninformed enthusiasts.
No.
I'm Sam from the YouTube channel Seen Through Glass.
I'm Tony from Goodwood Car Sales.
And you can watch us each week. We hope you enjoy the episode. I saw the Yangwang.
So did I, dancing.
Yes, mate.
What was all that about?
Dancing.
Yeah.
Go Yangwang.
I would have, if I had been there, I would have gone in on that car.
Mate, it was a vibe.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
They had a big launch at one point. I was walking past the stand. I actually went past the stand a lot because I was working with Genesis, which was 2 doors along. So I kept walking past Yangwang. I'm like, you're taking, this is a setup. And at one point I went past Yang and he was like, 2024, Yangwang. And then it was dancing and there were people doing backflips. No one was cheering.
No.
But still, go Yangwang.
Fair.
I am determined to get us an invite to the Yangwang press drive.
Right, well, you better edit the video last week then when we slagged it off.
No, here's my point. Yangwangers, if you're listening, how more authentic could a review be than us, two completely uninformed enthusiasts? No, uninformed enthusiasts who know nothing about your product but just despise your name. How, if we were to come along, you were to give us the full brief, explain the reasoning behind the name Yangwang and the product, and we drove it and we went, actually, go Yangwang.
Well, it probably translates into something cool in Chinese.
No, it's not. We looked it up last week. It was like shooting for the stars or something.
Yeah, but that might be a cool saying in...
It's not. It's naff.
Well, no.
Same as BYD. Build your dreams. / build a real car and then I'll pay attention.
But what I'm saying is, in that culture, that might be cool things to say. In here, it's
fair.
Who cares? But every culture is different.
Yeah, directly translated, it probably doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, actually, maybe the wording, sure. And I don't want to repeat ourselves, but it just doesn't work great in a European market. Anyway, long story short, Yangwang, get in touch. We're keen to come and check out your dancing car.
Well, I'd like to see it because it clearly dances better than you.
That's a very good point.
It's not hard, I know.
And also, we can't give them that hard a time because we had the Maybach GLS that danced. We had the new Panamera that danced.
I didn't see them.
Yeah, a lot of these new cars with their trick suspension dance to show off how complex their suspension is.
Tesla does the doors.
Tesla does the fart noises when you do the indicators. I mean, there's a lot of gimmicks going around, aren't there?
Yeah, there are, yeah.
Anyway, mate, Goodwood, Festival Speed. I am going to be positive. There's a few things that I'll say on a negative front. Too busy. I mean, they're never going to sell less tickets, but it actually is getting to the point where it's borderline too busy. The traffic getting in and out of the event, too much, too bad. Car parks, insane.
It's one thing I really hate, getting in and out.
Queues to get through the ticket gates, queues to get over the bridges. And because the site is so big now, if you're one end and you want to make your way across, it just takes time and you're fighting through people. And of course, everyone's there having a good time. They're eating their ice creams, having a beer, checking out what's going on. So everyone's meandering. I think the thing is, it's probably unfair for me to say this. If you're working, it's too many people. If you're just there on a jolly, it's actually probably quite nice.
Yeah.
But if you're working, it's hard because you're getting from point A to point B, fighting through the crowds, trying to get to see stuff.
Well, you're famous, mate, so you're going to get stopped every 1 yard, I suppose.
That is a lie.
Did you put a hat on and some glasses and
a
disguise yourself?
And a moustache and a beard and a wig.
Go put your head down and just walk? Did you do that? Walk fast?
Absolutely not, because I'm very keen to meet as many of my viewers and listeners as possible. So I walked around with my bobble head just bopping up, saying, hello one and all, hello one and all, and no one looked. So that was embarrassing. No, I met some lovely people. I met some really lovely people. But yeah, from a work point of view, it was tough. But I actually think the show was great this year. I think the show was really good. I think there was lots of interesting cars. I think lots of impressive stands. The overall consensus from most people within the industry that I spoke to is it was a Chinese takeover.
Okay.
Chinese brands everywhere.
Yeah.
New and unheard of Chinese brands. That was the mass consensus.
And was that a mixture of EVs and combustions, or?
A bit of everything, yeah.
Okay.
A bit of everything in every market. A lot of it sort of luxury supercar stuff, not like your entry-level family cars.
Okay.
A lot of it, Honki or Hongui, Honji, I don't know, Honky. They were knocking around. But yeah, just endlessly sounds like, what is this? So that was interesting. We'll come back to the cars that stood out for me. I want to kick off talking about my Artura Spider revisit, because McLaren very kindly said that I could have another go
Yeah.
in the Artura Spider.
Yeah. Is that normal?
There was I don't know if that came across on the microphones, but it did sound like someone just dropped down dead.
I mean, I thought someone gone through a wall.
I thought we were about to fall through the floor.
I thought this was the end.
There was quite a terrifying. Are we all okay, Tony? Are we in now the afterlife?
I thought this is how we were going to die.
Oh, I thought that was it. I genuinely was like, well, someone's dead. We're not, so we'll keep going. Pretend like that didn't happen. Yeah, McLaren invited me to come down and have another go in the Artura Spider after my heat stroke incident in the south of France.
Yeah. Did you go? What you went out in it again?
I went out and I drove it up the hill. I drove it up the hill.
You drove it up the hill.
I drove it up the hill.
All the way up.
All the way up. All the
You
way to
didn't
the top.
without crashing.
With no crashing, mate.
In the dry.
In the dry.
Oh.
I went pretty slowly.
Oh.
I tell you what, it's that hill climb. It's very narrow, mate.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
It's really narrow. I think people don't realise that.
Especially up by the wall, right?
Of course, by the wall, but in general, all of it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of sort of damp or bumpy grass either side. And you've got all the pressure of everyone watching.
Yeah.
I'm just not in the mood to try and be
Hero.
a hero here. But it was at least a chance to get in the car and just go for another bit of a drive and not feel sick. Here was my summary in the main channel video. And apologies if you watched this, even though no one has.
Why?
Mate, for me, on my channel, McLarens, they do not perform on the main channel. The 750S video in the doldrums.
Did they used to?
I think so, yeah. But the 750S, which I think was a great video, if I say so myself, I'm super happy with that video. I had I had the Mika Hakkinen hot lap. Like I put a lot of work into it. It was shot over the weekend. I went to the F1. Like I was really happy with that video. Not performing well. Artura Spider video. I mean, bloody hell, might as well not put it out. I mean, it's like my mum's watched, and that's about it.
But isn't that all that normally watches?
Yes, but normally she watches a few more times. I think she's only watched once.
From different consoles.
Yeah. Hack the system. Switch to your iPhone, Mum. I need another view. So yes, that's disappointing. But anyway, here was my summary. I don't think the changes they've made are as sensational as they claim. Obviously, I'm not driving the cars back to back. And maybe if I did, I would notice more. But to me, it just felt like an Artura Spider.
Okay.
And obviously, this could be a mistake of the PR and marketing team, who, by the way, I love that team. They've been great to me at the moment. But there's a lot of like, we've done this and this and this is better and this has changed and this has improved and it's a better car than ever to drive. And I'm like, it's still just a really good, like it was always good.
But aren't Ferrari and Porsche down the years been the masters of that?
Well, but the 750S is a 720S that's been incrementally improved, and I think it's much more noticeable. I think I can pick up on how that whole package has moved forward. It's all very minimal things.
So you think the difference between a 570 or a 600 LT to the Artura is not night and day?
No, between did we not have this conversation? The original Artura Coupe has been redeveloped, and it's basically now a facelift of 0.2. Okay. So that's my point. Between original Artura and supposedly this new and improved Artura Coupe and Spider.
You've driven both of them?
Yeah.
Right.
So I drove the original Coupe and then now the new Spider.
The new improved Spider.
Which is also a new Coupe.
Right.
So if you went and ordered an Artura Coupe today, you get 25% faster gear shifts. You get re-engaged suspension. You get stronger engine mounts.
Have you driven that one, the new improved Coupe?
No. Right. I've only driven the new improved Spider.
Okay.
And then the old Coupe.
Right.
But as we know with McLaren, Spiders and Coupes are very similar.
Yeah, normally.
Keep it up.
No, I completely get it, but yeah, I'm just making sure that the audience understand.
No, good, thank you.
Because you don't make a lot of sense. Just ramble on. That's why I'm here, really, just to pull you up.
Long story short, I think they've ended up in no man's land, and my advice was go and buy a used Artura Coupe, the original one.
Used Artura, the original. Okay.
150 grand.
Yeah.
You can get the power bump. If you go to your McLaren dealer, they give you the power bump by an ECU tune.
Got to pay?
No, free power bump.
Free upgrade.
Free upgrade.
Fair.
You obviously don't get the new engine mounts. You don't theoretically get the better exhaust, although I don't think the exhaust sounds any different. You don't get the What else do you not get? There's a few things that you don't get, but you get the power upgrade and you get the longer, like, so you know.
Because that's an ECU change. So
it literally.
Easy
so
for them.
bish, bash, bosh.
Yeah.
And then 150 grand, what a car. But 250 grand, once spec'd, I think it's too much of a no man's land. Just work harder and get a 750 or a 296. Because on the used market, a 296 is 250.
Convertible.
Or coupe.
Coupe is 220, mate.
There you go. Get a 296. So.
But that's the thing that we'd always take away, right? You'd have a 296 over an Artura anyway, right? Even if it's 150 or 220.
Well, not if it's new. If it's new versus new, if you are determined to spec a new car to yourself, the 100 grand price difference, the Artura is the bargain and the one to get.
Is it 100 grand price different though? How much is a spec coupe Artura?
Probably 250, if not less. 230.
So a spec 296 is touching 300, right?
So 75 grand, let's say. 70, 60 or 70 grand. 60 or 70 grand.
I'd still have the Ferrari personally, even if the jump was more, because but like I said, what we said in previous, I don't think I know that they have a similar drivetrain, as in hybrid and engine wise, but they compete in completely different brackets. I don't think it's fair to compare the two cars apart from the fact that they use similar drivetrains. So I'd have the Ferrari anyway.
Fair. No, totally fair. And I think if you're buying new, I'm probably with you.
Yeah.
I think the Artura makes sense when it's a used price bargain at 150. I think it's a lot of car for 150. I think it's a lot of car for 150. And there aren't really Ferraris that compete. I wouldn't get a 488 over an Artura, for example.
That would possibly be the swing. So if you're looking at used and you're looking at 150 versus 230 or whatever, then it's a considerable, because that by the way, the person that spends 150 to the person that spends 230 is a completely different customer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the same customer.
For sure.
So I don't think the 150 customer is looking at a 230, but if you're spending $250,000 on a car, you might as well spend 290, 300.
Sure. So well, I am the 150 customer, so
absolutely.
I'm definitely not looking at a 230 car.
Yeah.
I wish I was. Anyway, that's boring because that's old news. Let's talk about some of the newer cars.
Yeah.
So I was working with Genesis. Lovely gig, I have to say. Hosted those podcasts without you.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the audience were going, "Where's Tony?"
Yeah, they'd have been fuming, mate.
They would have been fuming. I have to say, I did the first podcast with Jackie Ix. Do you know who Jackie Ix is? Legendary racing driver.
Okay.
I mean, like Jackie Stewart era.
Okay.
You know, did Le Mans, did F1, did it all, like ticked every box. Chaos. He was absolute chaos.
Was
mate. That was one of the hardest jobs I've ever had to do, is control Jackie Ix on an interview/podcast based thing, and you would have just gone off because
gone in on him.
I started off with the question was like, I was like, oh, this is because obviously I had some scripted questions to help.
Of course.
And I said, how did you get into racing? Which is a bit like saying to, I mean, that's the whole podcast there. We could have ended it at the end.
You literally, that's all you had to say. Then just off you go.
I said, I'm sorry, this is quite an open, long-winded question. How did you get into racing? He goes, why are you apologizing? I said, well, because that's a long question, right? He goes, we don't have time. I'm like, no, we do.
Yeah, keep going.
Please start.
Yeah.
Well, firstly, let me say hello, everyone. I'm going, oh no, he's taken over my job.
Perfect.
And there were just so many times where he just called me out and stuff. You know, our technique. So this is taking you behind the lens here, people, or behind the glass. When you're interviewing someone, it's sort of a general understanding that when you start to bring the microphone back to your mouth, that's a sort of slight cue that you want to step in, that you're timing to move on to another question.
Or we look at each other normally. We've been working together a long time now, so we'll look or nod at each other and whatnot. So, and we know what each other are going to say now because we've been doing it such a long time. So I can imagine it's a lot harder when you're doing it with someone that you've never done it before.
Well, that, in an interview for sure. And so, yeah, you're right. Co-hosting it makes it very easy. But even if we have a guest on, like we kind of know when we want to jump in and we give each other little cues. So quite a generic industry cue when you're interviewing someone is to bring the microphone back up towards your mouth. And so I'm doing that and he literally goes, are you in a rush?
Yep.
I was like, oh my God, I'm sweating.
I loved him.
Oh, I'm sweating so much. But it was amazing. What an absolute hero, and great to get some of his insights. But the main thing I want to talk about was the cars they had on their stand. because we touched on it last week with our preview, this Magma range from Genesis. This caught a lot of people's eyes because firstly, the paintwork, pretty aggressive, super orange. The majority of them were concept cars, but a couple of them, well, firstly, one is announced to be going into production, which was the GV60, which was the one we looked at, I think, at the little, basically Ioniq 5
the Larry wheels.
With the larriest wheels. So I was sitting there, we were having our briefing, and I was just saying, make me familiar with all the cars. I don't want to get anything wrong. I said, we actually announced the GV60 Magma is going into production. And I went, oh, cool. I said, how similar will the production car look? And they're like, no, that's it.
That's it.
And I'm like, that's it? And they're like, yeah. I was like, no. Because, firstly, the wheels have these insane, like, stuck-out aero devices. It had so many gills. It sat so low to the road and on its tyres. Obviously, it had the camera wing mirrors. Like, it has so much going on. Even the interior was wild. I was like, if that thing ends up in production, take my money.
Yeah.
Take my money. It sounds mega. Obviously, it is the Ioniq 5N platform, so we know what good things have been said about that. Everyone that had driven it up the hill, pro drivers and Jackie and stuff, that were like, it is outrageous. And I just think, as an alternative, let's face it, Genesis owe an alternative, right? What a cool thing to kind of rock up in. It is very in your face. And that whole Magma range, they had a big saloon, big fast saloon, which at the moment available in the Middle East market. And they had a whole load of other Magma products. Super cool, mate. I like this.
And it's basically an arm of Hyundai, right?
So Genesis are in the Hyundai group.
Right.
Magma, as far as I understood it, is a trim level. It's not as insane as M, AMG, or RS. Okay. So it's not completely redeveloped. It's a trim level, but fairly attractive trim level, if you ask me. I like those products. We've spoken about them before in the podcast. It's not just because I work with them at Goodwood. And by the way, this is not a paid moment now, so I'm not being positive just because of that. Like, I found it interesting. I liked them. I thought the design was bang on. I've never driven one. I have no idea what they're like.
You might change your mind when you drive it.
Yeah, maybe I'll drive and go, what a load of poo.
Or like it even more.
I spoke to Alex Stead, amazing photographer, who has driven a lot of them. He said they're super nice. They're super nice and comfy, and they're very quiet inside.
If they're based on a Kia or Hyundai, which is the same group, then they will be a good car because they are good cars.
100%.
Simple as that.
So I think maybe we'll get a little loaner.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
I did try and get us invited to Korea.
I've never been there.
No, I want to go.
Have you never been?
Never been.
Oh, wow.
So at the end, they were saying, oh, thank you so much. This was fantastic. We loved working with you. I said, cool. I said, look, I would love to know more about the Magma range. I said, I would love to come to Korea.
Yeah.
And maybe Tony can come.
Yeah.
And we can do like a podcast special in Korea.
I'd like to go to Korea.
That would be a cool trip, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to follow up with that.
Okay.
BTG on tour in Korea. We would probably get cancelled fairly quickly.
Yeah, because I think you've got to watch what you say there.
You do, definitely.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it'd be from a car point of view, mate. There's a lot of brands there, stuff's happening.
Yeah.
I bet the car culture's insane.
I bet it is, yeah.
Watch out, Korea.
Yeah, we're coming.
We're coming. Did you see the Red Bull RB17?
I saw it, yeah.
Thoughts?
I saw it and then just like didn't really pay too much attention, as in it's not aimed at me. It's not a road car.
Don't like track cars, mate?
I love track cars, but I ain't got £6.5 million quid in it. And even if I did have £6.5 million quid, I wouldn't be taking it on track.
I spoke to 2 people who could buy that kind of car, and they said exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Way too much money to be batting around on track. Because as well, it's like with all these real high performance things now, unless you are Max Verstappen or an F1 driver, you're never going to ever get the performance out of that car anyway.
Well, the thing which I thought was mad, which I picked up on Adrian's interview with Jason Barlow on Top Gear, is he said that he wants to achieve F1 lap times. The aim of the car was F1 lap times.
We need an F1 driver then.
This is the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And some of the things they talked about, you know, the tyres, for example, Michelin tyres, 3 levels of Michelin tyre. The top one is such an aggressive, peaky tyre. There's like, if you drop the car, you're in the wall.
It's a slick.
Two slicks and a wet.
Okay.
But the 2 slicks, you've got I think they called it, was it the Michelin Concept or the Michelin? Anyway, Michelin Secret, something bespoke for the car. And then he said it's obviously super sticky, but it's so peaky that the minute the car starts to slide, it's off. You're gone.
But same with an F1 car.
Exactly.
Literally the same thing. If it goes, it's gone.
Maybe you're a punter And this whole thing was, you know, we put
if you're Billy.
If you're a Billy, we put a passenger seat in there so you could have some coaching, or you could take your mate. Like, the thing is, there's a lot of rich people who think they can drive, right?
It's just a big crash, mate.
I think it's a big crash.
Huge.
I mean, I'm impressed by it. It's clearly what Adrian wanted the Valkyrie to be.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's where he's taken the Valkyrie in his head since he was kind of left that thing. And you can see a lot of the inspiration is still there. A lot of the lines are similar. Front wing, lots of those things, especially to the AMR Pro version of the Valkyrie. It is super impressive. And also what I love about Adrian Newey, at least from what I hear, is how much his brain keeps working, because that car they showed, that is the design concept from last September. He's like, the car is now shorter. It is narrower. He said it's quite different from what you're seeing here. I mean, it's highly impressive. It's going to sound the bomb. It's going to be outrageously fast. But yes, how many of the cars are actually going to be taken out on track apart from by Max Verstappen? Because you've got to assume Max is getting one, Checo's getting one, DC is getting one, Adrian's getting one, Daniel Ricciardo's getting one. Is Yuki Tsunoda going to be allowed one? I don't know. Christian Horner's getting one. That's already like 6 or 7 of the cars gone.
Yeah. But there's only
Marco.
But out of them names, mate, there's 4 of them probably that they'll get performance out of the car.
Well, fine, but do you know what I mean? Like so.
No, yeah, I understand. Yeah, but
of the people left around the world who are going to buy that car, I don't know. Like,
and I don't care what they say about, you know, we'll get you tuition. Like, to drive that level of car, there isn't any tuition you can have that you can't. It's a different level of driver, mate. It's not. You can't be taught that.
Well, I have a friend of mine who listens to this podcast fairly regularly, and hopefully he won't mind me telling this story. And if he does, he's going to text me and abuse me anyway. I would argue one of the best amateur, non-pro drivers in the world at the moment, in terms of like any category, is on a level that is right up there in all different categories. And a few years ago, went to do I think it was either an LMP2 or an LMP3 test. Maybe it was LMP2. Anyway, a proper high level slicks and wings, like competitive thing, and was like, oh. Oh. And I think had a big moment, touching a curb, losing a bit of downforce, like, and just was like, oh. So I think there is that, as you say, that level beyond like punting around a track, having a nice time, which is what a lot of these track-only toys are, right? Yeah. For the odd track day, for the supercar driver, secret meet, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then actually...
What I do all the while.
Yeah, exactly. Having a jolly.
Yeah, literally.
And then going around a track in something like a Valkyrie AMR Pro, like the RB17. What else? The Bugatti Bolide. Yeah. My God, mate, that thing looks astonishing.
Does it?
That for me was the showstopper of the weekend. But these kind of cars, mate, they are outrageous. It's like the Ferrari Corsa Cliente program with the F1 cars. And this has never been substantiated by anyone at Ferrari. This is not an official claim, because we now know that we can't make any dodgy claims about Ferrari. The rumour was that they would sell the traction control era cars to the less competent clients.
Yeah, fair.
Because they were like, oh, you need a bit of traction control.
Yeah.
Because, you can have a lot of money and do a lot of stuff, but the skill to drive these proper racing cars, it's a lot.
Did you see, by the way, just before we move on,
please,
did you see that clip that's going around on Twitter of the F1 drivers? It's so good. It's like a 19-minute clip of Silverstone of just the engineers and the drivers all talking to each other through the Grand Prix.
No.
It's unbelievable. It's like off the scale.
On the F1 channel, is it? Or
I'll find it for you and I'll show you later. But it's a 19-minute clip, and it basically talks you through the race from a driver and engineer perspective. Wow. So it's basically it was the top 5 drivers of the race. So Max, Lewis, George, Lando, and Piastri, and their conversations with their engineers throughout the race with the changing conditions and what. Come in now, do this. No, don't do this. Do this, do this. The level, I know we've said it before, but the level of capacity that they have to... You don't realise until you hear something like that, you go, bloody hell. Like, at 200 mile an hour, you've then got to keep the car on the track and talk to your engineer and fit. It's unbelievable, mate. I'll show you it. It's incredible.
I will love that.
Yeah.
Right on my street.
Yeah.
Speaking of clips on social media, you see the Evija X crash?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. But what happened there?
He just binned it, mate.
What, car or him?
Driver error.
Oh,
They've
right.
come out and admitted
Have
driver
they?
error, yeah. I mean, that's
What, just
bad,
let go?
isn't it? I don't know what's happening at Lotus.
Well, if it's not Lotus's fault, it's the driver's fault.
No, mate, it's all going tits up over there. They've sacked off everyone we knew. All the good old boys are gone. It's a whole new crew. They're doing very strange activity on the PR front. Like this, car people aren't invited to anything they do anymore. So
Really?
it's all lifestyle fashion.
Is it?
Yeah. No car people get to do anything. And then the Evija X, which is supposed to bash the all-time Nurburgring lap record, doesn't. Comes second or something like that.
Did it?
Well done. Yeah.
Yep.
EV, sorry. EV production record.
Does the
Doesn't win.
Panamera still got that?
No, Panamera's not got an EV
Sorry,
record.
the Taycan.
Taycan
the fast-
Visac Turbo GT thing, do we think?
Is that the one that's still got the record?
Let's
I think
see.
it is the Taycan thing. The Larry one.
Fastest. It's not the ID, the Volkswagen thing. EV. No.
Production car.
Fastest EVs.
I'm pretty sure it's the Taycan.
It's the IDR concept, mate.
Is it?
Yeah, 6053. Then the Neo 645. Then the Taycan's fourth. You've got the Rimac Nevera.
But is that production car?
Well, yeah, these are all claimed to be production cars, aren't they?
Okay. Well, the
ID4
Rimac
wasn't.
definitely is.
The ID4, the IDR wasn't.
No.
Anyway, I think it's just all-time EVs.
Yeah.
Anyway, who cares?
Yeah.
Because the Evija X isn't a production car.
Okay.
So long story short, it fails there, and then they take it to Goodwood for its big unveil, and literally 2 meters off the line, he stacks it.
Goes in the wall.
And in this whole thing, the reason why I think this is sort of bad for the industry is 2,500 million horsepower from our electric motors. Look what it can do. Absolutely nothing. Can't go anywhere, it can go into a wall.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a bad moment.
Yeah. It looked like quite a bad crash as well.
I think it was quite a bad crash, yeah. I mean, lucky because, that's where a lot of people stand.
Yeah.
So a lot of hay bales there,
Well,
but it's not
said
what you
this
expect
before,
to see
though,
a car.
haven't we, mate? Like, it can be dangerous there as well, because some of these cars are going bloody fast,
Yeah. Well, they've tightened up a lot of the sort of driver restrictions at Goodwood this year. So previously, I would get invited by manufacturers to drive stuff up the hill.
Yeah.
Now you've got to have quite a legitimate racing license to do so, except on the Thursday when they do the manufacturer batch, where you have a clubman license, which is fairly easy to get hold of.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, at some point something awful is going to happen at Goodwood. We nearly saw it last year with that tyre that flew off. But
well, there was a couple last year. There was a car that went really flat out into the hay as well, and people had to jump out the way, didn't they? So
that was sketchy.
Yeah.
We're not miles away from it. Anything else catch your eye on social media? Did you see anything else interesting?
I saw the Bentley spin. That was quite good.
Yes, that was.
He'd done well.
He's
there.
done very well. Again, I mean, that could have been a big shunt.
Yeah. Well, had that been you and I, that would have been a big shunt.
Yeah.
But luckily,
the new Bentley Continental in the rain, and he did a what's 2 times 360? He did like a 580 or something. Like that, whatever, 620, whatever. Yeah. So he did big spin all over the place. Carried on. And what I love is he gave it proper large. Once he straightened it back up, he was like, "Oh, off I go!"
Yeah. I bet the passenger was flapping.
Oh my god!
Can you imagine that?
Did you see Alonso in his what's it called, that thing now?
I see
its name.
it pull off.
Yeah. With Rachel Brooks in the passenger seat, pooping herself.
Was she?
Yeah, and he was loving it.
Yeah.
That was cool. You messaged me saying you thought that the new GTS T-Hybrid sounded like the old turbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
Yeah.
I think it sounded right. Sounded looked good. Yeah. What else caught my eye or sounded particularly good? I mean, a lot of the new cars were like, yeah, cool. Oh, I like the M5 still.
Did you?
Still like the M5. There was a very nice yellow one on the BMW stand. Everyone's going to be like, what, you gross. I like that. And then there was a sort of dark bluish one.
Why don't they get away with Larry colours, BMW, in their M cars as well? I think Larry colours almost suits them. It's fine.
Well, I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Everyone hated on me for liking that car, but I still like it. What else was cool? I didn't really see much. I was so freaking flat out walking between things. I didn't actually have a chance to look at much. Oh, the little Alpine hatchback thing. I loved the look of it, the final production version. The Renault 5 with the Alpine A290, whatever the final production version. I thought it looked awesome.
Yeah, you sent me a picture there, didn't you?
Yeah. But I just thought the stats were... for me, it's an Abarth rival.
Okay.
Or maybe the new Mini electric
How much is
rival. I don't know price-wise, actually. But just the stats were like, okay, like I think 300-kilometer range, 0-16, like 6 odd seconds. Like, it just was like, okay.
Yeah.
Fine. But as a run around for town, pretty damn cool.
Yeah, fair.
Looked awesome.
Yep.
Ineos had some cool stuff on their stand. They had this one red pickup truck version, which was the Quartermaster. Anyway, they got this pickup truck version, red. It was unbelievable, like an end of the world zombie version of the Ineos Grenadier.
Where's that going to be sold? Middle East?
No, I mean anywhere. But this was a particular tuner, I think.
Okay.
So that was cool. I'm just thinking what stands I walked past. Yangwang we mentioned. Yeah, the Lotus stand. God knows what was going on there. MG had the Cyberstar, the Cyberster, the Cyber. You know that convertible sports thing.
Oh yeah.
But they did a coupe version, which was quite cool.
Was that nice?
Yeah, I thought it looked cool actually. Yeah, that looked good. The new Honda Prelude.
The Honda Prelude.
It's back.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a combustion engine vehicle.
Like the Ford Capri?
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing like
it's
a
not
Capri.
Ford Capri at all.
Is the Honda Prelude like the old Honda Prelude? Or is it a bloody SUV now?
I'll bring up a picture. No, it's not an SUV.
Right.
I think it's actually quite good.
Right.
It looked cool and they had it sort of, they had it alongside.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a little sports car. It
looks a little bit like an NSX.
A little hybrid sports car thing. I think it's cool. It's a GR86 rival.
Yeah.
So just when we said that whole thing was dead.
It's all coming back.
Here come Honda with the Prelude.
Yeah.
Is it Prelude or Prelude? I think Prelude is America, right? We're Prelude.
Prelude, yeah.
Honda Prelude.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
That was a good car back in the day.
Yeah. Yes, that was cool. What else did I see? There was a Tesla Cybertruck, which everyone was looking at, but I was like, poo. I think that's all I noticed. That's all I probably saw.
Nothing from Ferrari or Porsche?
The Ferrari Le Mans car was cool.
What about the new 812? Was that around?
The Dodici Cilindri.
Whatever it's called. Yeah.
It was static. It wasn't driving.
I didn't go up the hill.
Didn't go up the hill.
It's a shame.
But you're going to see some dynamic footage of that car real soon.
And what about the...
wink, wink.
And what about the XX thing, the SF90 Leary thing?
I think it looks amazing.
Right.
I think it looks the
I've
bomb.
not seen one of them in the flesh yet.
Yeah, I think they look wild. But nothing like Ferrari like would make me go, wow. I thought, the Bugatti Bolide was amazing. The new Bugatti Tourbillon, actually a little bit funky in the flesh.
Right.
Some of the dimensions were a bit odd. They've made it a bit more supercarish. You know that the Veyron and the Chiron were always quite bulky, like luxurious, elegant.
Yeah.
This is a little bit more like stretched out, just a bit...
What, made it with wings and guns and stuff?
No, not at all.
Okay.
But, because I think it's the Nevera platform, right? Which is just a bit sleeker than the Chiron and the Veyron. So it just looks a bit stretched and thin and just less elegant, more like they're trying a bit hard. It's still a Bugatti, it's still cool, but in the flesh, I didn't love it quite as much.
Okay. New Hurricane weren't there yet. That's not coming,
that's supposed to be at Monterey Car Week.
Okay, fine.
Which, actually, nice segue, I am heading to.
You're not.
Mate, I'm going to Monterey Car Week, and there is a big adventure prior to Monterey Car Week, which I'm about to kickstart. So, okay, well, look, I think lots of you will know, over the last, 6 to 9 months, I've been to Luxembourg quite a few times.
You have, yeah.
I've mentioned it. And when I've gone...
I thought you had a holiday home there.
I'm looking at it, I've got to be honest. When I've gone, I've mentioned that I've been going to see a bank, going to see my bank, talking about bank.
Yeah.
So, all of this came about because I think towards the end of last year, I'd started to talk to you about it. I basically figured out I should probably start making my money work harder for me.
That's right, yes.
You always say that.
Bad time you listen to me. Sometimes I talk a bit of sense.
Well, 10 years into this old YouTube game, I've just been, spending willy-nilly and shoving cash underneath my duvet and, whatever. And so I thought, okay, well, I should probably, I've got a child now.
Of course.
Got a plan for the future.
You've got a home.
Responsibilities.
Yeah.
Got a Panamera.
Got Ferrari, got a Porsche.
Exactly. So I want to
keep going if you want.
I thought I wanted to make some investments. I wasn't really quite sure what to do. So I actually came to you a couple of times for some advice.
Yeah.
We looked at a few options and different things. And weirdly, at the end of last year, whilst we were having these chats, a listener of this podcast reached out from Luxembourg saying, oh, look, I know some people here. Next time you come across, maybe we can do some car stuff and there's some cool events. He was a super nice guy. So we started chatting. And after a while, I noticed that in his, signature, it said Swiss quote Bank Europe. And I was like, bank, let me find out what you do.
Bank.
And at some point, he just said something like, oh, by the way, this is what we do and investment, etc. If you ever want to chat, let's get a coffee. And I was like, this is so weird and kind of the perfect timing. Can I give you a call?
Yep.
So ended up going for a few meetings, having some chats. I mean, it always helps that they're car people. So they kind of got it. And they were just super friendly and explained everything because I am not financially that minded, in terms of investments, ETFs, stocks. I mean, even crypto. I struggle with crypto.
No, I don't have a clue about crypto.
Fair. So
not a clue.
I really had to go like, can we explain? It's investing for dummies. But they were just great, and they really played. So I invested some money with them. That was my whole thing. That's why I've been to Luxembourg quite a few times this year, just because I wanted to talk it through face to face. I didn't need to. I could have done it all online. I just wanted to.
Well, at least you have an understanding.
Yeah, because it's my first time. I just I wanted to have the thing through, and so we made some investments, and we talked about what we were going to put stuff into, and actually, quite a few of my investments have been car related.
Have they?
Yeah. So I've done, because I was like, that's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
come on, Ferrari.
It's a common denominator as well, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. For sure. But a couple of months ago, once I'd made my investments and I was on the app, it said something about Lombard loans.
Okay.
Now, you probably know a bit more than me about Lombard loans, but as far as I understood it, and I've now learned about it, it's essentially a way to, if you're an investor, borrow money against your investments. So it's a different way to potentially finance things.
Yeah.
There's various benefits. You can pay lower interest rates than other forms of unsecured lending. There's a lot of flexibility. You don't, at least with the Swiss Quote Lombard loan, you don't have to do monthly repayments. You can choose how to use that money. You can just apply online. It's all just super straightforward.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is interesting, because what a different way to finance a car.
So this is for assets that you've paid with your own money and you want to draw some money back, right?
No, so their offering was, if you've got investments, so I'd say through ETFs, through crypto, whatever's invested in that platform, they will lend against that investment. So against your investment portfolio.
And then you can go and buy
whatever you like.
Whatever.
Like a car.
Fine. Okay.
Like a car.
Okay. What have you done?
Well, yeah.
You haven't. What have you done now?
I'm not going to say too much more.
Oh, for God. I don't even know about this, mate. Have you bought another car?
Always going to become clear fairly soon. All I will say is...
I can't.
Well... I saw all this and I thought, this sounds interesting. So I sent an email via to the marketing team. I was like, this sounds great. Should we promote this? And we have come up with quite an insane, let's call it a campaign, or at least an adventure, which is going to highlight the benefits or the potential of Swiss Quote's Lombard loan. How would one do that? I don't know. Maybe it would be buying a car. Who knows, Tony? We'll have to wait and see.
And that's why you're going away?
Yeah.
Right.
So...
Can you say where you're going?
America.
Again?
Yes. Well, that's where Monterey Car Week happens.
Without me?
Yeah, sorry, mate. People are going to start putting two and two together.
I've never been to Monterey.
No, mate, it's wild.
I know. Yeah, I keep saying I need to come, but I mean, I can't this year. I'm too busy.
You are too busy. And it's a lot of money to go, which is,
It's all right.
Well, no, it's not.
No?
It's a lot of money to go.
Okay.
But yeah, so long story short, lots is going to become clear in the weeks ahead. If people are interested in this, if you're interested in the investment space, but if you're interested in this Swiss Quote Lombard loan and things like that, I guess we can talk about it more in the future once everything's been revealed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it'd be quite good to riff with you, I suppose. You can ask some questions, things like that. I'm going to find out more from the team in the weeks ahead. But long story short, Swiss Quote Bank Europe have supported this. Mate, it's going to be wild what's about to happen. And so we have to thank them. And I just wanted to kind of at least introduce them to you, the lovely podcast audience, ahead of the big reveal, because it's going to be quite a big moment on the main YouTube channel. And I wanted you to have a bit of a sense of what's going on and hear the backstory.
Bit of a glimpse.
Yeah, a bit of a glimpse before I unveil everything. But yeah, so there's no main channel video this Sunday because I'm kickstarting this big adventure and I need a bit of time to be able to edit and produce it. I'll skip a week on the main channel. The first video in this series, revealing everything.
Big bang.
Big bang.
Yeah.
And we've dropped enough hints. Might be a car. Might be. Not saying that, but there's way and through.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for now, if you want to go and find out more, I'll put a little link. Swiss Quote have created a little special STG BTG page in case you're interested in this stuff. There's a link below. You can go and read up on it before, as I say, the big reveal, and then we'll discuss more in the future. Anyway, what have you been up to, mate? Because you didn't come to Goodwood. So where have you been? What's been going on?
Well, I went to Nurburgring again.
Of course you did.
No, because
I've been talking about buying a holiday home.
I mean, I could actually. It's quite actually not that expensive to go there, but holiday home would be good. Unfortunately, you can't buy one there unless you're German.
You can't buy one at the Ring?
Yeah, you can't buy one unless you're German or a German resident. Yeah, because otherwise, every Tom, Dick and Harry would buy a load of houses there and all the prices would go up. So the Germans, very, very good. They protect it.
Wow.
So clever, isn't it?
That is actually very clever.
Yeah.
So you just need to find a German bird and then...
Well, I've already got one, so I don't really... Unless my missus says to me it's all right for me to have a German one as well. I mean, it'd be handy. Actually, I'm going to have one there and one there. It'd be lovely. I'll have to ask her permission if she's all right.
Of course.
Yeah, lovely.
She might be very happy.
Yeah, she could be, yeah. Yeah. So it was my mistake, actually. That's one of the main reasons I didn't come to Goodwood, because I'd already planned to go on this trip. I saw Paul Wallace there.
You saw Paul Wallace there?
Yeah, so there was...
He wasn't driving around the Ring, was he?
No. It would have been shuttle weekend if he drove around there. He was on the GP circuit. It was truck racing.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, well, he was with the... He come on when he said he was doing stuff for the FIA, yeah. So he was there, so I met him for an early dinner and a drink.
Lovely.
And then he had to go back because he was working.
Did he show you all the cars he's looking at on Auto Trader?
No,
You dodged that bullet.
No, because me and Paul have a very, very good understanding. I have a really lovely relationship with Paul because I barely talk about cars with him.
Amazing.
We talk about everything apart. Like, he's just like my friend.
Yeah. I mean, talk about Harry Kane.
We just talk about everything apart from cars.
Perfect.
Because actually, both of us don't really like cars. Yeah. So we talk about these completely different. Yeah. So anyway, he's great company, Paul. He's,
of course,
good laugh. So I spent a couple of hours with him. I was with a couple of groups of friends at the weekend, Nurburgring. I was a bit angry, mate.
Oh.
I was, yeah. I mean, I do know this and I have seen this before, but there was some real wallies there this weekend to the point where it's so dangerous, mate. Like, some of these people, they just don't understand or don't get. They think they're out on their own, and it is terrifying when you're in quite a fast car and you're pedaling on and you've got a wally on an apex doing 40 mile an hour because he doesn't really care. He's talking to his girlfriend or he doesn't really know what's going on. And then you've got other wallies trying to skid their cars and it's so dangerous, mate.
But, mate, this is what I've said to you over and over again. This is the problem with these tourist lap days that you do. It's an open lot. Like, everyone's doing whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
There's no consistency. There's no control of things. People don't know what they're doing. People do know what they're doing. Like, it's mayhem. And it changes. So that I think the benefit of going on track is you're all going in the same direction. There's no oncoming traffic. You can read the room. There's marshals and runoff areas and everything. So you can just concentrate on going flat out. Around the Nürburgring on a tourist lap, you can't because it brings back the unpredictability.
To an extent, because what they've obviously done now, they bring all this AI stuff in. I'm not sure you've seen it, but now there's huge, big lit boards, like AI boards now, all around the track, hundreds of them, not hundreds, probably 120 of them scattered around, where if there's a crash or if there's something happens, instantly you get these big yellow flashing boxes. Now, they've just introduced it last 3 months, so that is better, because what used to happen was there'd be a crash, there wouldn't be enough marshals because it's too big, and then you'd come around the corner and then just be pile-ups all the while because or you'd slip on oil, or so they do it fairly quickly now. They neutralise the track very quickly, but it's the people that are less considerate to others. So I think personally, even on TFs, I think that you should have some sort of experience before you go on there. I know it's a toll road and that's ridiculous, but you know, when you've got people on there just being stupid, like they're just going round trying to skid because they want to be on YouTube, or, you know, they want a photograph of them going in the wall. They've got to bear in mind that there's other people on there in slower and faster cars. You just got to be mindful of that.
But I think that's the whole joy and the beauty of the Nurburgring, isn't it? That you can pay and anyone can go and have that experience, and it's not a closed track.
No,
you're not going to like this, but I actually think you're the one in the wrong.
Okay.
I think you should be going on track days there.
Fair.
If it's a toll road and there's traffic moving at different speeds, people farting around, people waiting, just like on any other toll road. You could go to the Grossglockner or many other toll roads. You have tourists pulling in, doing U-turns in random places. If you're driving flat like that, I actually think you're the one asking for trouble. I'm
not driving flat.
No. But you know what I'm saying. I'm not saying you, by the way. I'm not literally attacking you. I mean, those that choose to do very fast, very good, high-speed precision driving on a tourist day, I think is the person asking for trouble.
Yeah, and I think these people do track days as well. But equally, like you said, it's for everyone. So
it's for everyone, but it is.
But what I'm saying is just be a bit more considerate.
Yes, because you are the fast drivers are considerate.
Yeah, they are.
The people twatting around aren't.
Correct.
Which is where it's unfair.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as I say, that's probably not the occasion to be going that fast. If you're really determined to go that fast around the Nurburgring for all the reasons that you or one has said are the benefits, then wait and go on a track day. On a tourist day, it's about having a bit of fun. Yes, doing some speed, but just, keeping your eye in and because there's just too many question marks, too much unpredictability, too much chaos. And I've seen it over and over again on Misha's channel where he's got so much experience. He knows where he can go fast in places, and he comes across slow-moving traffic and he's almost frustrated by it, or he's almost going for gaps that he knows should be there or lines that could be, and then someone in front of him pulls in front of him and he's like, whoa, what's going on? I'm like, but they don't know. That's probably their third lap around.
Yeah.
Or, they don't know, maybe they don't know the format. So obviously, I love Misha. I don't attack him at all. But my point being, I don't think if you're on a tourist day, you can get frustrated with people not driving as fast as you.
No, because that happens that'd happen on a normal track day as well, mate. You obviously get different levels of cars and different levels of driving on a normal track day. That happens. But what I do is it's not even the people that are driving as fast. I'm not bothered about that. It's the idiots.
The idiots, yeah.
They're not driving faster, because if you're driving faster, then you'll get past the slower car. But it's the way they're behaving.
Fair.
That's the problem.
And that's what you wouldn't get on a track day, because they black flag them straight away.
Correct. Like, why are you trying to... there's one bloke going through a section and he's trying to lift off oversteer in a Fiesta. What are you doing when you've got cars behind you 130 odd mile an hour coming at you? What are you doing, ridiculous, mate?
And you're right. I've seen this whole slowing down to find a gap in the traffic for YouTube
all the time,
so that you get a nice clear shot of you going in, which is insane. Trying to find a gap on the Nurburgring. So I appreciate idiots. I don't have a place anywhere, but my fear is I just dread the day that you call or someone calls me and goes, freaking hell, some idiot suddenly turned in on Tony or did something unpredictable and blah, blah, because you were just driving in all your abilities and you just can't react.
But that would happen everywhere. That would happen on a track, mate. That could happen on a track.
I think it would happen less on a paid for track day than it would on a tourist day.
I think it depends on the level. I've seen some huge crashes on a track. I think there's not a lot between the two. In the difference between the two is, like I said, that the idiots on a track day
get black flag
would get took off.
Yeah, fair.
The idiots at Nurburgring, they seem to get away with it. That's what's wrong. They need to get them people off.
Yeah, fair.
Because they're the people that they're causing accidents.
Still happy with your car?
Love it.
Really happy with that Manthey upgrade, huh?
I need better tyres, mate.
Ooh. So what, you still want the new P0s, the new Trofeo RSs?
Yeah, so I have lots of conversations with people that go there, cars that go there, and I've got Cup 2s on it now.
Okay, you put Cup 2s on?
No, because I found a set at work. Perfect. I found a scrub set at work, so I put Cup 2s on. They're not good enough.
Interesting.
So a lot of they're okay for some track driving and road. They're a good in between. They're a very good semi-slick in between. But if you're doing what I'm doing, they're not good enough. That's why you have the Cup R, which is the really
Is it Cup
sticky.
2R or does Cup R?
No, yeah, there's a Cup 2R and then there's an R.
There's just an R,
which is a really, really sticky tyre, but it's not good. But apparently the best 2 or 3 tyres around at the moment, which is what they all seem to be on, the Trofeo R.
Trofeo R, not because the new RS.
There's an RS, which is insane, apparently.
It's only homologated at the moment for the 3RS.
For the 3RS, I can't get it on my car. But a lot of the lads seem to have Trofeos on, just normal Trofeos, because they last longer. They got better grip than a Cup 2, and they last much longer than a Cup R. I've seen a lot of them on the Goodyear Eagle F1 RS tyre.
Interesting.
Yeah, there was a couple of 3RSs on that tyre. I don't know if I can get them on my car, but the Cup 2's not good enough. I feel it falling away, and it still understeers a bit. So I need a better tyre, basically.
Fair enough. Well,
so I look at Trofeos next, I think.
I can report on a few whispers on the Porsche side of things.
Ooh.
So our cars might be getting replaced real soon.
What do you mean?
New GT3.
Yeah, facelift. Yeah.
For the end of the year.
Yeah. We knew it was coming. It's just .1, .2.
But that's early, don't you think?
Look at the old shape.
They've just launched the GTS. We haven't even seen Carrera S or Turbo yet.
Well, they're going to launch it at the end of the year. So that means it will come probably 2026.
No, first deliveries will be end of 25.
Do you think?
Yeah, if they unveil the car, let's say November, December, I'm trying to think where that could be. It might just be an online reveal this year. Then you would expect production or first deliveries to be summer 25.
When did they launch the first one? 2020. Yeah, it'd be right. It's about right. Every 4 years.
But when did because
first cars come out
992, it's not usually 18 months or something like that between. I'm just talking about how quick the GT3 is coming out. I don't mean it in terms of comparatively to our cars. I just mean in the life cycle of a 992.2. I just find it surprising that they're like, well, firstly, we've got GTS first, which usually comes at the end.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you're right.
We haven't seen Carrera S, we haven't seen Turbo.
No.
And we might be getting GT3.
Yeah, in terms of it, normally, you're right, it's normally at the end of a cycle. But when you look at years and time, it's about right. The problem is I would have thought the new 992 would have got launched earlier if we didn't have had COVID.
Maybe, yeah.
And I think that there's been a bit of a
delay,
a bit of a lull. And I think that. But when you look at time, the .1 to the .2 is normally 3 or 4 years, and it's 4 years.
Fair.
So it'll be about right.
Be about right. Well, interesting. Watch this space. Our cars will plummet in value even more.
Well, they always just find their feet, mate. They all do it. The GT cars, but there seems to be a lot. I mean, I do remember the old car there being a lot, and all of a sudden they all went away. But there does seem to be a lot of GT3s at the moment online, but not just GT3s. A lot of everything, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all gone back to how it was, where there's just a lot of cars available. So if there's a lot of cars available, they have to adjust in price. But all it means is that you either take the pain and come out your car and lose money, or you just keep the car you got.
Yeah. No, of course. I'm in no rush I'm not sitting here going, when the new GT3 comes out, I'm going to be all over it.
Yeah.
Of course, it will be better in ways, but I'm very happy with my car for now. We are expecting some kind of 911 Turbo tribute, some sort of exclusive series-esque 50 years of the Porsche are making a big deal about 50 years of the Turbo.
Okay.
And so I'm expecting some send-off and Turbo special. Before we get 992.2 Turbo, I think there'll be one last hurrah for 992.1 Turbo. Just a livery, I would imagine. Maybe they'll do a little horsepower tweak, who knows? Yeah. I'm sure that's coming. And then there's all of these rumours that I know our sister show in America, Spikes Car Radio, have mentioned, that at Quail, which is part of Monterey Car Week, which I will be attending, there is the potential for a new model from Porsche. Now, some people are getting very excited and saying that we're fairly certain we're going to see the LaFerrari replacement this year at Finale Mondiali.
Yeah.
The McLaren P1 replacement this year.
Yeah.
And so therefore, could this be Porsche's hypercar?
Well, it's 10 years.
the thing is, the confusing part is we had Mission X. So where does that lie in things? I also think people are getting a little overexcited because I think actually it's going to be something like the Cayenne 7-seater, or because there is supposed to be this big giant Cayenne plus, so a new model, not a Cayenne 7-seater, but a plus, and it would make sense to be launching that in the US market. So I think that's probably more likely, but there are hopes and rumours that we're going to get some hypercar rival. But I thought that was the Mission X. That was, as far as I understood it, it was Mission X, the F250 or whatever the LaFerrari replacement will be, and the McLaren P2 or whatever the P1 follow-up will be. So watch this space. As I say, I'll be there reporting live, bringing you all the action in whatever means of getting there will soon become clear. So next week we have a lovely interview guest for you that's been recorded in advance. And then we're heading to the summer, and because of this mega US adventure that I'm embarking on, we will at some point take a little bit of our usual summer holiday.
Yeah, we have a little break, don't we, normally?
A little break, but mainly because I'm going to be away. Are you going away at all? You've got any holidays this summer, or are you slaving away?
Bit of both. Got another couple of Nurburgring trips planned over the next few months. Going away long weekend in August.
Okay, nice.
Girlfriend's birthday. And that's about it, mate.
That's about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to
Christmas.
Well, no, tour first.
Tour and then going away Christmas.
Oh, sorry. Okay, fine. Going away Christmas. I thought you meant then the year's over.
Always go away Christmas.
I know you do.
Love it.
So we'll let you know when we're taking our little break. We've got a few more episodes, a few more weeks to go before that. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode. If you want to follow Tony in the meantime, between now and next week, he's at Tony Gravel Car Sales on most social media platforms. I'm at Seeing Through Glass. And yes, stay tuned, because stuff's about to kick off.
It's all going to kick off
on the main channel, and I cannot wait. Adios for now. Bye-bye.
See ya.